Hello. Good morning. Feels like it's been a while. I don't know how long it's been, honestly. But welcome back to my talk show, podcast, web series, extravaganza. It's 8:35. I'm on my way to work. Doing some reflecting. I feel naked right now because I don't have a coffee. I usually have a coffee for my commute, especially when I record these videos. I have nothing. Don't even have like water. Feels really weird. But maybe that's fitting. Maybe that's oddly fitting for this video and the topic. I want to talk about just being transparent. And some things in my life that have been happening, and like why I almost feel like I feel like the world is just like craving transparency right now. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I have been thinking about. But selfishly, before I get into that, let me give you a rundown. I got back last night from a trip to Washington. I was there just for the weekend, and yeah, I missed a day of work for it. It was nice to have the Sunday off. Now I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and it feels weird to be back. It was a weird trip. It was a weird trip home. Felt strange being there, and I felt strange returning. And yeah, I'm like low-key really out of it right now. Like, it doesn't feel real that I'm going to work right now, and it doesn't feel real that I need to get out of my car. It doesn't even feel real that I'm like in my car driving. And like, honestly, nothing feels real right now. Also whatever, I'll get into it. But it's all part of this transparency thing. So that, even though it was off topic, it's not, because it's all about being transparent. This is just me being transparent. That's where I am right now. Yeah, I feel like the world wants transparency so bad right now, and it's so interesting. Like, so the reason this is on my mind, this isn't the only reason though, but really fresh this morning is I was listening to a breakdown of like some lore, like Lorde, Lorde, and her new album is coming out, and how she's like, I want to be like totally transparent and like real and everything, whatever. Is interesting. It just like made me think, like, where's the line that we should be being transparent? Because I have that same craving that I think she's been talking about, leading up to her album, of being like, I just want to be completely open and honest and everyone to know where I'm at. And I've always had that. Like, I've always been like, I want to like make things that describe such a specific feeling and describe such a specific time and place and emotion. And I want to be seen by that. I think it's the more you are transparent, the more you are able to be seen, at least for me, and seen for who you truly are. I think. And yeah, that's just like, it's an interesting idea, because what if like we aren't supposed to be sharing everything at all times? What if the traditional methods of sharing things to your close friends and family and a therapist are really like all you need? But this generation and this kind of current internet the community on the internet, and the community that's formed through art, I think, really specifically, really values transparency. And it's almost like we'll call people out if they are not being transparent, raw, honest, etc. I think that's so interesting, because like, what if people aren't comfortable saying that? And I think that's not to say that I'm not, because I am. I honestly crave it so much. Like, it's what I want to do with my life. It's like pour myself out onto the paper, which is my films or whatever else I make. But like, I think to a certain extent, you can get really lost in it. I think if you're being transparent to the wrong places, the wrong people, you'll lose yourself in it. You'll, I don't know, like, you won't, you will lose your grounding, your footing of reality, if you're being so transparent that everyone sees you and everyone, but like, to a certain extent, you'll start saying things because, oh, I'm saying this because I'm being transparent or trying to be transparent, but then it won't be true to yourself. Because what if one day being transparent to yourself is not being transparent at all? Like, what if you wake up one day and you're like, my truest self right now doesn't want to freaking post what I'm thinking on the internet. My truest self wants to be completely closed off. But you're in this stage of forcing yourself to be heard, forcing yourself to be transparent. And I think once that happens, there's almost no going back. Like, you are, from that moment on, not authentic, not completely transparent anymore. And I see that happening with people. I don't know if I'm seeing that with Lord necessarily, but like, I almost feel like I'm seeing her almost forcing herself into this, feeling a little bit uncomfortable with it, and then being like, but this is what I want to be doing. Because I think I actually believe her. I believe her that she wants to be transparent with what she's feeling and all these things, but I think a part of her is still uncomfortable by it, and she's not letting that part of herself shine, or not shine, she's not letting that part of herself be as transparent as the other parts. She's just letting the confident part out, which isn't transparent. And I think that's something that we can all fall into. I don't know. I'm not trying to hate on Lorde though. Like, she's cool. She's really cool. Like, I've loved her music for a really long time. Such a good impact on my life. Really good artist. And I hope she's being true to herself right now. It feels like she is. But I was just kind of putting myself in her shoes this morning and being like, where would I draw the line of like how much I want to share And what about the parts that I don't want to share? Is it okay sharing that I don't want to share that? I don't know. But anyways, to get off of the Lord, be transparent for me really means a lot. And I think that's why having something like this channel for me has been really helpful. Because one, I don't have a therapist right now. And two, sometimes I'll have these thoughts that I feel like I just need to spew as they come. I don't always have time to journal, even though I did do some journaling over the weekend. That felt really good. But yeah, transparency to me is definitely really important. But I'm also not gonna force myself to talk on a day that I don't want to talk, because that's being transparent. It's being true, I mean, to a certain extent, one can say, like, it's good to have self-discipline and force yourself to do some stuff, but I don't want to. I'm not getting paid, but this is not my job. At this stage, I don't need to do anything. So, my gas light's on. Frick. But I do want to be transparent for a second and talk about my weekend, because it was ups and downs, lots of ups and lots of downs. Okay, for starters, on Saturday, I was at home alone, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, I used to live in this house. Sorry, I'm yawning. I used to live in this house, and I used to overeat like crazy because I didn't know what else there was to do. And I actually think I've been on this health journey for a few months now, trying to fix these habits that I've been in for years. I've been losing some weight here and there, actually a lot of it. I've been successfully on this health journey is what I should say. I've gotten to a point where my life in California, where I live now, I'm not struggling as hard with like binge eating anymore. But I used to. I used to be pretty bad at that. But I've been learning. It took years to figure this out. I'm learning what's healthy for me, what's fueling myself, what's not fueling myself. But honestly, most importantly, recently I've learned balance. I've learned that I can be living a really healthy lifestyle and eating foods that are fueling me. Fruits, vegetables, meats. Like, that's it. Like, getting all these parts of myself that I know are giving me energy. But also, like, I'm letting myself live a balanced lifestyle where if there's sweets at work that someone brought in, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't do that. I'm going to, like, let myself have a donut. Like, I'm going to allow the balance of this and that, because for a while there I was insanely restrictive, and that ultimately just made me binge more. But anyways, I've been better here about binging, eating a ton of food, feeling guilty, doing it again because I'm starving myself. I've been good about not doing that for the last few months. Good about letting myself eat food, not feeling guilty about food, everything. But when I was at home, I realized where it started. I literally was like sitting. Oh gosh, I'm like already at work. It's crazy. I was sitting there in my house and it was pouring rain. I couldn't go outside. I was alone and I was like, what do I even do? I'm so bored. I need to eat food. And I just started eating and I was like, but I'm not binging right now. I'm not gonna binge. I'm not gonna binge. I'm not gonna binge. And then that just made me binge. I ate a bunch of food that I didn't need. It was bad. That was Saturday. And then Sunday, or Friday, Sunday, Monday, I just ate a lot of food. And I wouldn't say I binged those days, I just ate a lot. More than I usually would. But anyways. I'm at work. I'm still a few minutes early, but I don't want to sit in the parking lot forever. What I'll say, I think that this video is okay to leave off on like a middle note because I really haven't figured out this whole transparency thing. But I think saying stuff like even this food thing for me is helpful to have it online and just say, you know, this is something I struggled with this last week, but I'm figuring it out. And that's okay to be figuring it out. So, stay strong, stay healthy, do your best. Cool down if you need it, take time if you need it. The sun will rise tomorrow and it will be a new day.